What is up, y'all? I've got a big old Leo eclipse here today. We are in our Leo solar eclipse. A couple of hours just passed, but I'm feeling a lot of intensity and excitement. I actually felt what, I don't know, I can only describe as like this electric pulse that sort of almost felt like a reset button that hit me probably 3 or 4 times within that hour. I was able to open my Zohar set. It arrived yesterday, so I saved it for today, and I lit some incense and I took volume 1 outside, so I'm super excited. So from the Wild Unknown Alchemy deck, we have 10, followed by Conjunction, followed by the Benevolent Guide. Underneath 10, we have 7 of Wands. My boyfriend's 7 of Wands here. Underneath Conjunction, we have King of Wands. We had him showing up Monday, remember? So he's present through this whole week. And underneath Benevolent Guide, we have the World. So what's interesting is this really underscores everything that we've already been talking about, and I highly suggest watching last night's Lunation workshop. So this 10 card, the 10 element, is associated with Jupiter and expansion. And the description on this card, I always remember, talks about the little scream that 10 makes when you're like working with it and you're bending it, you're crunching it, you're stretching it. And it went so perfectly with the 7 of Wands, where this character is exerting themselves, stretching themselves to break free from the things that have pinned them in, held them back, kept them caged, right? Breaking through limitations, breaking through limited beliefs, breaking through patterns, breaking through early childhood conditioning, breaking through trauma responses, breaking through old habits, right? And persevering. Maybe this is, has to do with breaking through the difficult phase of meeting a goal or meeting a phase of a goal. Either way, when I really think it has to do with the emotional healing assignment that we had to do this week, and probably related to the father, because so many times in general the solar eclipses have to do with the father, whereas the lunar eclipses have to do with the mother. So I think that there is some kind of level of forgiveness with our father that we're being asked to give or practice. And it doesn't have to be fair, but it just has to be like, it doesn't have to seem fair to us, because it can feel like it's really stretching our ego, right? That scream, that, oh, I don't want to do this. Oh. But see, the reason why we need to is this is the sacrifice that is required to unlock all the miracles that are waiting to come through right now. This is that negative little contaminant that is not in alignment with the creator, regardless of whether we are correct or justified. This hard feeling is preventing all of this blessing and this expansion from coming through. So if we can just grit our teeth and bear it, and pull off the Band-Aid and do the thing that we don't want to do. You can forgive someone, and you're not required to hang out with them every day, right? You can forgive and start doing the work, and it doesn't have to be perfect, right? But I think that if we have a sincere effort to move in that direction and not look back, but keep moving forward in progress and healing, then that is going to unlock so much more of what is going on right now, which is confirmed by the Conjunction card, right? This is when things are coming together and falling into place, and the chemical bonding is happening, right? The masculine and the feminine, the upper and the lower, the inner and the outer, all of that, as above, so below. The healing is happening, and it's bringing everything else, even the things that don't seem connected, they are connected. So it's bringing it all together. And here we have the King of Wands, which represents that father figure. Maybe he was beating his drum. Maybe it was an overbearing, sort of like authoritarian, controlling, masculine energy in your life that you're trying to get out from under. And and be liberated from whatever that authority tried to impose on you, to try to control you, perhaps. It's like this is the healing moment where that person, it's like it may not be that they change or that anything changes in your dynamic necessarily, but you change. It no longer affects you. It no longer leaves you emotionally in upheaval. The person or the situation, the circumstances, you might find that you are a new person within that, and it has no effect over you. And then therefore, maybe you are shown your way out of the situation, or maybe you just find peace within it, or maybe it eventually resolves itself. Either way, this difficult feeling of needing to sacrifice that piece of the ego that just wants to stay satisfied by holding on so tight. It's the one thing holding us back. It's like we are holding like this big bouquet of like helium balloons in one hand, but we're also holding tight to an anvil in the other hand. And so if we want to elevate, if we want to move on, if we want to, have liftoff, we've got to let go of that heavy density. Which, oh my gosh, look, almost feels the same in this description, right? She's holding on to these things, balancing her wisdom and understanding. The World card is like a signal that you have made it through an important lesson. And now, because you have embodied that lesson and proven that you've learned that, lesson, or done that spiritual work, you've done that assignment, you're now free to go in a new direction. And it's like the choice is up to you. We've got our benevolent guides here, the bees. And this is like our spiritual support groups that are around us at all times, our angels, our, maybe sages or prophets that we're connected to, or our loved ones that are around us. They're guiding us and leading us towards our higher destiny, right? But it's not going to be without work. The bees, they're always worker bees, right? They always have a purpose and a process that they're involved in. So I think that the process is going to unfold, the map is going to unfold, and we're going to be guided every step of the way, but we're going to have to show up. And I think that we have a lot of freedom right now, coming on the other side of this, as to, what we want to explore and where our soul is calling us. And so I think it's going to feel like we have the world at our fingertips after all this is behind us. But it's just getting over that uncomfortable feeling of putting your pride aside, putting the need to be right aside, or even correct aside for the sake of your own fulfillment and your own peace and your own well-being, so as to not block your blessings and shut off your vessel, but to open the vessel. All right, and it's not for their benefit, it's for yours and for your own soul. The sages recommend that we go through life imagining that it's only us and the creator, that every single individual that we interact with is just the creator reflecting whatever character needs to happen in order for us to realize our entire soul. And to break through any limitation or shortcoming or negativity and transform and transmute that. So if we look at all of our encounters that way, it sort of changes how we feel about and judge the situation. All right. Well, that is all for today. It's a short one. I'm on the way to work, but y'all have a nice, thick and chunky workshop to watch. The new moon solar eclipse workshop from last night. So enjoy. Peace. The middle of the week is marked by the tiny breaking screeches of expansion, as 10, associated with Jupiter, cries out as it is crumpled and expanded. This is the sound of our ego breaking, as we pry through the bars of the cage of patterns, belief systems, and fears that have held us back. Our ego doesn't like it, but the radical acceptance and mercy that is called for is the thing that will set us free. The ego is attached to our position, and it may very well be right, but do we want to be correct or do we want to channel ultimate miracles? Because this is the sacrifice that will unlock the miracle. The harder it is to let go of, the greater the light that will be revealed. This eclipse is an opportunity for major healing and the realization of a major dream. Maybe that person will never change. Maybe the circumstances never shift the way that you're hoping or expecting. But maybe the healing is that it no longer has power over you. The person, the situation, it no longer affects you. And that is when you become the cause. Your spiritual support team is with you. Have courage and strength.